All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry about earlier. I forgot about the virtual audio board I had on this old computer, but yeah, we're live on Google Hangouts. Good afternoon. Uh, Andy here live from my other Andy's Random Studio here in Ocean City, Maryland. Yes, I got here last night, safe and sound around 10:30. So that was very good news. Um, we got a lot to talk about today. Um, got some stuff we got to talk about back for my New York viewers. We got to talk about the severe flooding that happened in Newcastle County today, earlier this morning. The area around Christiana was flooded. The good news is the mall did not get flooded, if anybody was asking. Just a few minor roads by the Christiana River got flooded. We also got to talk about, of course, yeah, stories back in New York, Long Island Railroad, New Jersey Transit. We're going to talk about that. We also got to talk about a story that the media refused to cover back in New York about an MTA bus driver who was accused of dealing drugs. And also some stories that have not been mentioned here in Delmarva. And also, we have some breaking news on Aretha Franklin. I'm not joking. The R&B singer apparently is hospitalized and is not doing well, according to her publicist. So we got to talk about that. Um, Without further ado, we're going to get to our first subject in just a second. So we will take you to my screen. We'll do that right now. And we'll get started with today's afternoon update. Just a heads up, no live chat. No live chat. If you want to comment, if you're watching on the replay, you are more free to do that. You can do that at the end of the video or as you're watching on replay. Oh, I just want to quickly mention something. This is very important. So many of you know I did that Newsday video in New York before I left, but I want to give a very special thank you to fellow YouTubers Matt Camper and Pine Power LI for covering yesterday's flash flood that happened in North Belmore, New York, by the CVS on Jerusalem Avenue. I want to thank them for covering that story because not, guys, I'm just ashamed of the media back in New York. I really am. I was listening to 1010 Wins on the radio.com app on the way down here. And as I'm going through a rainy trench, Route 113 in Milford last night, out in Delaware, as I'm coming from Coastal Highway, uh, I put 1010 Wins on and I want to hear what happened. Yes, they talk about the accident that happened in Brentwood. I understand people care about that story, but they refuse to talk about what happened in North Belmore. I'm ashamed of our media. Shame on 1010 Wins. Shame on CBS New York. Shame on WABC. For the thing, it's been about 10 minutes. We put it in at 142. A black bag. All right, folks, I'll be right back. I'll put the mic on. All right, well, folks, I'll be right back. I'll put the mic on mute and we'll get started. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that, everyone. Had to wheel something into my room. But my point was, I'm just annoyed that our media didn't want to talk about a story where we had 2 inches of rain on the south shore of Long Island for about 45 minutes. That's a real flash flood, and nobody wanted to talk about it. So I'm ashamed. No one wanted to talk about it. I'm annoyed about it. And once again, thank you to Pine Power LI. Thank you to Matt Camper if they're watching live or on the replay. It means a lot. It means the world to me, and I'm glad you guys were able to cover. Warren and I couldn't get to any of my computers yesterday to give you any information. So their videos are up on their YouTube channels. You can check it out for yourself, but we're going to talk about today's issues, and we'll get started. All right, seeing the screen right now, and there we go. Okay, so our first story of the day is about the severe flooding in Newcastle County, Delaware. This is, of course, the Delmarva issue. You're not going to hear about it on WBOC or WMDT. I'm assuming most likely some of the Philadelphia stations tried covering this, but I doubt it. So you're only going to hear about it from me. So let's get started with this article. So here's what happened earlier this morning. Roadways in Newcastle County were swamped with rainwater earlier this morning following a round of heavy rain, which triggered a flash flood warning from forecasters. On Boxwood, Centerville, and Greywell roads, as well as in other places, emergency responders have been answering calls from drivers stalled out by high water. The rain abated around 8 a.m., but the flood warning was still in effect, and more rain is expected. So we're going to have to see if the NWS in Mount Holly is saying anything. We're going to have to double check that as we go along in the video today. I think we will check that. Well, I can search for and telecast on the Christiana thing, and we'll take a look. Some of the roads where the flooding came fastest are prone to flooding, such as Airport Road and Boxwood Road. Emergency personnel haven't reported any injuries on today, of course. So I'm just going to say this again. This is the area near the Christiana and Dover River in Newcastle County, Delaware. Photos. I think this is the one that I wanted to take a look at. We can pull it up right now if it's going to load, hopefully. Hopefully it should load. If it doesn't, that's all right. Okay, it says the flash flood warning was in effect until 12:40. So pretty much the flash flood warning is over. All right, so this is a very important photo. As you can see, there's two cars. They know better not to go into the water. This was by Wright Clay Creek State Park. So repeat, this was at Wright Clay Creek State Park. So pretty much this is where it happened. So I don't know why it's not coming up. I apologize about that, everyone. There we go. We're back. Again, I apologize, everyone. This is what happens when you have a slow computer. NWS issued a flood warning for Wright Clay Creek near Newark and Christiana River at Koch's Bridge around 8:30 this morning. So pretty much, they were just saying today, expect severe thunderstorms today. It's very possible. Front is moving southward from the waters off New Jersey and Delaware to the NWS station in Mount Holly. It's not expected to move much through tomorrow. Pay close attention to the weather today, especially if you need a flood-prone location. So pretty much it's been chaotic in the area near the Christiana River today. So next up, now that we know our information about the flash flood warning that expired at 12:45 earlier this afternoon, we will take a look at the radar. And if the radar doesn't even want to load, then we have a problem. Hopefully it should load up. If it doesn't again, I apologize about that, everyone. Remember, I'm working with a slow computer, so it should be coming up. Okay, we're having a problem right now. Apparently, Chrome is being a pain in the butt. It doesn't want to do its job, and I had so many articles for you today. Just stand by. I apologize, everyone. We'll disconnect my mic. Okay, I got the mic working. Here's the radar from today. Apparently, this was pretty much most of the afternoon. And as you can tell, the rain from earlier this morning that was in Newcastle is pretty much now in the New York area. The rain is in New York, so this was the band that was in Newcastle earlier this morning. As far as the Reservoir Peninsula, Kent, Newcastle, Sussex, Wicomico, Worcester. We've been dry for a majority of the day today. The current conditions in Ocean City right now, I'm looking out my my studio window. There are a few clouds here at the moment outside of my studio here in Ocean City, Maryland. There is a few clouds as I'm looking outside. The sun's trying to come out, but there are just too many threatening storm clouds coming in. So if you're on the beach right now in Ocean City and you're watching this, just please be prepared to see if the lifeguards are going to put the red flag up today. I'm looking out right now. There are, of course, a lot of people on the beach, so that's a good sign today. But remember, it's still cloudy out. I would be cautious today if the lifeguards somehow put the red flag up on the lifeguard station. So please pay attention to the lifeguards today, because we could have severe rain at any moment. We could have a pop-up shower that very well come on the radar that came out of nowhere, and it's very possible. So I urge anyone today, please follow the NWS on Twitter. I know Mount Holly is at NWS_Mount Holly and NWS Wakefield. They should tell us anything if something does happen today. So we will double check the current conditions. So I'm just trying to pull it up right now. And right now, it's still humid. The dew point is at 74. That makes our heat index here in Ocean City right now at 89 degrees. So right now it's 82. We have a breeze right now coming from the southwest. So we will check the hour-by-hour forecast for today. So here's how the dew point's going to look. It's trying to drop today, but looks like it can't. It looks like most of the day is going to be dry. But remember, there is a chance of a pop-up thunderstorm all throughout our peninsula today. So again, please follow NWS Wakefield if they issue any watches or warnings today. We could have this forecast change. We don't know yet. The only chance of a thunderstorm tonight would be at 9 o'clock later this evening. But after that, the rest of the evening should be clear. As far as thunderstorms tomorrow, there is still a chance tomorrow. We will take a look at the hour by hour, but it looks like Wednesday and Thursday, even though it will be humid, it will be another couple days where we have dew points in the 70s. It is possible that we will have all day clear skies. Hopefully nothing like today where it's just cloudy all over the place. And again, I understand why people are on the beach. You know, it's still summer. There's only a few weeks left till Labor Day. But again, I would be cautious today and just be careful if you're going to be on the beach today in Ocean City or any of the beaches along the Eastern Shore today. Let me just pull up the information for tomorrow. Yeah, looks like between 5 and 8 a.m. tomorrow we have a chance of a thunderstorm. But afterwards, it looks like most of the day tomorrow will be clear. So pretty much we just have to get through tomorrow morning. And after 9 or 10 o'clock, it would be safe to go on the beach. Because there are a lot of people who love to do early morning strolls on the beach. But I would be cautious of that tomorrow. If you want to get that in on Wednesday or Thursday, I would recommend doing that. So good news is the watches and warnings from Newcastle have expired, according to the article we just read online from Delaware.com. So now the next thing we're going to take a look at is, of course, a mess on the Long Island Railroad this morning. Twitter is being a pain in the butt. I know. I hate when it does that. So here's what happened earlier this morning on the Long Island Railroad. We had earlier signal trouble near New Hyde Park back in New York. If anybody's curious, I'm sorry for changing the subject so suddenly, but we have to move along here today. So anyhow, as I was just saying, we had signal troubles near New Hyde Park caused the Long Island Railroad to have problems on the Ronkonkoma, Port Jefferson, and Oyster Bay branches due to the signal troubles. Surprisingly, this didn't affect the Hempstead branch. And you want to know why it didn't affect the Hempstead branch? Because the Hempstead branch after Queens Village has its own separate track. Was it after Queens Village? No, I think it's after. Not my bad, folks. Floral Park. That's where it. That's where the tracks switch, and that's why Stewart Manor wasn't impacted. Of course, right. All right, so I'm trying to move up here. Twitter's just being a pain in the butt, everyone. I apologize. So we're going to pull up at the Nice Bus because Nice Bus actually had to be detoured today thanks to this. I feel was completely unnecessary. So we'll pull up Nice Bus's Twitter account, and then we'll talk about New Jersey Transit. So we'll pull it up right now. Should be pulling up any second. There we go. Oh, boy. Take a look at this, folks. We'll talk about Nice Link in just a second. Because apparently, look at this. We got to talk about Nice Link, unfortunately. Okay, so here's what happened on Nice Bus this morning. There was a detour on the N25 this morning. Due to the signal problems, the N25 had to be detoured at New Hyde Park. There was no service on New Hyde Park Road between Stewart Manor and Jericho Turnpike. And because of this, the buses had to detour via Covert Avenue. So, Nice Bus actually had a problem this morning. How ironic. All right, so let's take a look at this tweet regarding Nice Link. What is this about? Yeah, look at this, folks. We have the Nice Link thing for people who need to get to the Merrick train station from East Meadow. Seriously, how is this going to help people? It's not going to help people. Ride Link for free. We are so excited about our new Link service that we want everyone to try it. We are offering free Link service between August 20th and the 31st. Once again, this is going to be an epic fail. This is not going to help people. It really isn't. Again, this is the way the county wants to waste money. Again, the only way to fix the problem is bringing back the M51. But no, we're Nassau County. We don't want to do that. That's where I'm going to end it on that point. So let's check New Jersey Transit. We'll pull them up in just a second. They should pull up immediately because we were just on that other tab. So we will take a look at all the canceled trains today that Matt Camper was just talking to me about on his Periscope stream. So a lot of trains were canceled Um, believe it or not, yesterday, which was Sunday. So I'm glad they were talking about the trains that were canceled due to the PTC equipment availability. All right, and the good news is with regards to the flooding that happened this weekend at Penn Station, the escalators for track 7 and 8 are now back in service, so that's very good news. So there was a car fire earlier on the George Washington Bridge affecting westbound New Jersey Transit bus service. This is interesting. There were PATH track conditions. See, the PATH trains never can fix anything correctly. Okay, so that's pretty much going to wrap up the mass transit update with regards to that. We are going to quickly talk about the story that Pine Power LI gave me this morning. Again, the media in New York refused to cover the story back on August 6th. And the New York Post, believe it or not, talked about this story with regards to an MTA bus driver being busted in a cocaine trafficking operation. Now, I'm hoping there's no other cases in the future where we have to deal with this again. So I'm trying to see if we can get the article to load. I'm trying to see it, but I don't think it's going to load. If it doesn't load, we're going to have to change the subject until I can get the story back. Once again, I apologize, everyone. This is what happens when, again, you work with terrible conditions. You know what? Let's talk about Aretha Franklin if that even loads up. All right, so we'll talk about Aretha Franklin, and we'll go back to that story afterwards as soon as we can load up our last 2 tabs. So we have developing news on Aretha Franklin today that was published earlier this morning. According to her publicist, we have some news. So the 76-year-old R&B soul singer Aretha Franklin is reportedly to be in gravely ill conditions and surrounded by her friends and family, according to multiple sources. The news first broke last night by longtime showbiz columnist Roger Friedman on his blog Showbiz 411 and was echoed by Detroit's NBC affiliate WDIV Television. A person close to the singer confirmed reports of the singer's health to the Associated Press earlier today. The singer has canceled multiple tour dates this year. Most recently, her show planned for June 28th at the Toronto Jazz Festival. That was a rescheduled performance from here. So, I've seen Aretha Franklin perform. I will openly say that. I have seen her perform at the Westbury Music Fair. And that was a long time ago, but her health is just not in good shape. They're not saying the reason why her health is not in the best right now. In an interview with Detroit reporter Evroyd Cassimy last year, Aretha Franklin said she would retire from touring after the release of her latest album. There was a birthday show planned for her back on March 25th and an appearance at the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival on April 28th. Okay, so Evroyd Cassimy tweeted out earlier this morning, I'm saddened to report that the Queen of Soul and my good friend Aretha Franklin is gravely ill. I spoke with her family members this morning. She is asking for your prayers at this time. So pretty much we're not going to get any more information with regards to what's going on with Aretha Franklin's health. So we'll get rid of that tab right now. I did want to talk to you all about the bus driver story. Apparently, we're not going to get that at the moment because, again, my computer is, again, being a pain in the butt. I know. This is what happens when, again, you don't have good technology working for you. Okay, so we got this story loaded up. I just want to see if we can get these last two stories loaded up for you, so that way we don't have to worry about refreshing later. So this story is pretty much loaded up. That's very good news. Pull that up. So we'll go to a new tab. I'm thinking this is how we're going to have to prevent the information from getting overloaded on this computer. So here's what we're going to do to report the last four stories for you we have today. We have some Delmarva stories I want to cover, but right now we just can't do it because, remember, we don't have any information. So let's see if we can get this New York Post article to upload to the screen right now. Looks like it's uploading to the screen, so that's very good news. That's excellent. And again, I apologize about all these technical difficulties, everyone. I can't control everything at the moment. Let's wait for this to load, and I'll be right back. All right, I'm back, everyone. Sorry about that. We wanted to make sure the article would load up to the screen right now with regards to the story I wanted to read earlier, and also I wanted to replay the video on my phone afterwards. So here's what happened. The Pine Power LI gave me earlier. So as I was trying to report earlier, an MTA bus driver was busted for his role in a cocaine trafficking operation. So here's what happened. An MTA bus driver was busted in connection with a cocaine trafficking operation that disguised drugs in children's gift boxes. Brazen conduct, flashy cars, and a soft spot for Minnie Mouse was the trademarks of the cocaine traffic operation announced today, said the city's special narcotics prosecutor, Bridget Brennan. Defendants are charged with shamelessly exchanging more than 4 pounds of cocaine for $74,000 in cash in a commercial area in broad daylight. Officials observed nail salon manager Christopher Kelly, age 51, receiving a packaged gift wrapped in pink Minnie Mouse paper from the trunk of an orange Dodge Challenger back on June 19th. And this is, of course, the gift in question right here. And look at this. This is the cash that they were talking about, and this was the UPS bag. And this is clear blatancy that you're seeing an MTA bus driver right here in uniform. Agents have been surveilling a nail salon at 5821 Avenue T in Mill Basin, Brooklyn. Kelly handled the package to Robert Woolridge, 38, an MTA bus driver, who handed Kelly a Burberry shopping bag stuffed with cash. Woolridge already drove off with the Minnie Mouse gift wrap package in its Audi, authorities said. The Dodge Challenger is registered to Salvatore Cespe, age 63, the brother-in-law of disgraced Deli Marciano Sherry boss Arthur Maldonado, according to a law enforcement source. Maldonado killed himself in 2014 as authorities raided his Brooklyn factory, which was a suspected front of a marijuana operation. I was trying to see this. So where's the MTA bus driver? Oh, here we go. So it's the 38-year-old, yeah, Robert Woolridge. That's what I was trying to say earlier. This is crazy. Okay, here we go. June 28th, agents stopped Woolridge in his car in the Bronx on his way to report to a bus route. Agents later searched his East Tremont Avenue home, which they allegedly recovered a UPS bag from a kitchen cabinet containing 2 kilograms of cocaine worth $75,000. You can't make this stuff up, folks. this is what happens in New York. So we'll talk about some good news before we get to some sad news. I'd like to talk about the Maryland tax-free week. So here's the story about that. Shop Maryland tax-free week is underway. It started yesterday. Clothing and footwear under $100 will be exempt from the state's 6% sales tax. The first $40 of a backpack or book bag will be exempt as well. Maryland's tax-free week will run through Saturday. So pretty much if you're looking for clothing or footwear throughout the state of Maryland, if you're also looking for backpacks under $40, you can do that. Just a heads up, if you really want to beat sales tax, I would encourage you to go to Delaware, where Delaware has no state sales tax at all if you make any purchases. So just want to quickly remind everybody about that. So let's see what else we got. Let's talk about the jet ski accident that happened. I do want to wrap this up because I have stuff I have to do down here this afternoon. We'll talk about the jet ski accident that happened here in Ocean City this weekend. All right, so one person was injured and another person was given a citation after jet skis that were riding collided on Saturday morning. The 11th in the area of Herring Creek, according to Maryland Natural Pennsylvania, riding a jet skis back Paradise Water Sports when they run to the jet skis from. The other jet ski failed to stop for the turning jet ski and the two collided. The passenger on the turning jet ski broke their leg and was taken to Peninsula Regional Medical Center for treatment. The driver of the second jet ski, who failed to stop, was issued a citation for driving over 6 knots within 100 feet of another jet ski. The driver was also given a warning for negligence, according to NRP. The time passed. Sorry about that. All right, let's see what we got. I think it's 2 more stories we were going to talk about. So what's happened on 495? Let's pull that up. Okay, Delaware State Police are identifying the tank truck driver who died in a crash on I-495. Police announced Monday that the driver killed in the crash in Claymont early Saturday was 53-year-old Michael Kent of Newark. The crash happened after a car hit a disabled car, partially blocking the right northbound lane. Police say the tanker truck hit the rear end of the disabled car and overturned. Police say Kent, who was pronounced dead in the scene, but the 2 drivers of the 2 cars were not hurt. The tanker truck contained molten sulfur, but police said no leakage occurred. The roadway was closed for about 11 hours while the scene was investigated and cleared. All right, so last story we're going to read. Sorry about that. That's the last story, everyone, I promise. We'll read it together, and then we'll wrap up this live stream. All right, so we're back. State police say they arrested a Millsboro man on drug-related charges Friday after they pulled him over for a traffic violation and ran from the police, leaving behind his child. This incident happened on July 30th on Route 13 in Seaford. So this happened on DuPont Highway, if anybody was curious. The Delaware State Police say they pulled Stephen Verley, 28 of Millsboro, for failing to use a turn signal when he made a U-turn. When troopers pulled him over, DSP said they smelled marijuana coming from the car and saw a child sitting in the back seat. Troopers then asked him to get out of the car, but police said Fairley drove off and a brief pursuit ensued. Delaware State Police say they stopped chasing Fairley because he was driving aggressively and at high speeds with a child in the car. Police later saw Verley walking with his son near North Street and Liberty Street. Once he saw police, Verley took off and left his son, with police took into custody unharmed and brought to a relative. Delaware State Police said they were not able to find Verley. They did recover prescription bottles filled with Oxycontin and Percocet pills and money that Verley had thrown. Police had also searched his abandoned car and found marijuana, crack cocaine, oxycodone, and drug paraphernalia. And don't forget, they found the oxycodone and Percocet. Police got warrants for his arrest, and Verley later turned himself to the police back on Friday, August 10th. He was charged with the various drug charges and endangering the welfare of a child. Verley was committed to the Sussex County institution on a $32,950,000 secured bail. Keeping in mind, I just want to mention to everybody, if he was also drunk, they could have charged him with Leandra's Law, and I will get into that in just a second. If this happened in New York, it would be more serious, so we will get into that right now. Let's point on that. Google that right now. All right, so here's what would have happened if Stephen Verley was in New York and he was also charged with driving while intoxicated or driving while the under of influence of drugs. So pretty much, if he... Okay, let me make sure. Here's the law. Pursuant to any New York Vehicle Traffic Law, Section 1192, any person operating a motor vehicle while intoxicated and transporting a child is guilty of a Class E felony. In the event of reckless driver and death or serious physical injury that is not a factor, an individual is given a Class D. So pretty much what would have happened was he would have gotten seriously, the charges would have been more serious. That's what would have happened. Okay, so pretty much an automatic felony on the first offense to drive drunk with a person aged 15 or younger. Keeping in mind there was a young child under the age of 15 in the vehicle. So pretty much, if this law was in Delaware, there would have been more serious charges. That's for sure. That's for sure. So we're gonna go back to the thing over here. So that's pretty much going to wrap up this live stream for this afternoon. I don't know if there's going to be any chances of rain here in the peninsula. If there is, I will try to go live here on Google Hangouts if it is. So that's it. Thank you for watching. Until the next one, take care.